and welcome to Alpha Militaria TV. Thanks for tuning in once again and seeing what we're up to. My name is Richard Saunders. Now, you may have seen the last few weeks we've been reviewing a few spring-powered rifles, and we've been doing that because right now in the lockdown people are finding it a little bit difficult to get out and replenish the air supply that they need for PCP rifles. So we thought if we do a few springers, that might be helpful to people. So we reviewed a little while ago a couple of underlever rifles from Air Arms, the Pro Sport and the TX200 Mark III. Both, I have to say, absolutely fantastic rifles. Really enjoyed shooting them. Very accurate, very stylish, very well made. But they have a couple of rivals, the HW77 and 77 from German company Weihrauch. And we thought it was only right to give a view on those rifles as well. Now I've got both of them with me today. This is the HW77, and then, if I don't drop it, this is the HW97. This is the KT model. Now I'm going to concentrate mainly on the 77 today, and then we'll do another video on the 97 to run you through that. And what I'm going to do is, as usual, I'm going to run through the rifle from back to front, talk you through some of the main features on it, then we'll zoom in on some of those features, and then we'll put the rifle on the range, put a few pellets through it, and see how it shoots. So the HW77 was launched around about sort of early to mid-80s, and really put a category of rifle, the underlever rifle, back on the map. Now, underlevers have been around a long time before the 77 came along. They've been dating back 100 years or more. But at that time, a lot of the rifles that were in gun makers or gun shop shelves were basically based on technology that was even decades old. I'm thinking about the BSA Air Sporter, for example, kind of sort of 50s, 60s technology. And when the 77 came along, it kind of modernized the whole category of rifles and really brought it back into people's kind of consciousness. Now, at the same time as this rifle was introduced, the whole field target and hunter field target scene was just starting to pick up and take off. And this rifle absolutely dominated the sport in the pre-PCP days. And if you didn't have an HW77, then you weren't really at the game, so to speak. And what this rifle did was, with sort of modernized manufacturing techniques and the superb trigger, and we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail shortly, it really meant that the accuracy potential of a fixed barrel rifle could be exploited. So let's talk then about the HW77 specifically. Now, there are a couple of versions of this. There is a standard length rifle, and then there is the K rifle. K stands for Kurtz, or is generally referred to as the carbine version, and it's certainly the shorter version. And this is the K. Now, the rifle will vary between 1,020 and 1,120 millimeters long, depending on which version you have. And the barrel on this, the K version, is 370 mil. And on the full-length version is 470 mil. And in terms of weight, you're looking at a variance of between about 4.1 and 4.3 kilos, which is, it's quite a lump. But then again, the rifles that it's comparing with, the Pro Sport, the TX200, the 97, the Wolf, the LGU, they're all fairly weighty rifles, and you need some of that weight to deaden the recoil. Not that there is much recoil on these rifles. And there's also a couple of stock options. You only get the traditional sporter rifle with a pistol grip. There's no thumb hole version on the 77, but you do get a beach stock option or a couple of different laminates. This one, I don't know which one this one's called. I think it might be the summer laminate, but it's predominantly green. And then there's a special edition which is more browns and greys. But this is actually my rifle. I only bought it a couple of days ago, and I have to say I'm falling in love with the stock. Right, so let's talk about the key features then. At the back, you have a solid rubber butt plate with a black spacer on it. There's no adjustment in that butt pad. You don't really need it, to be honest, because the comb on top of the butt here and the cheek piece really sets you up perfectly in terms of eye alignment. The stock is completely ambidextrous. There's a kind of a cheek piece on the right, cheek piece on the left as well, and the pistol grip is the same both sides. That pistol grip is quite steeply raked. There's a nice cutout for your hand to go in. You can shoot thumb up, although there's no groove for that, but you can easily shoot thumb up or thumb round. And there's some nice checkering on the pistol grip as well to aid with that grip. On top of that, you have a safety catch, which is up here on the top of the breech, well away from the trigger. And if you've shot a Weihrauch, any Weihrauch before, you'll be very familiar with the safety catch on the 727. You'll also probably be familiar with the trigger on Weihrauch Springers as well. It's the much fabled record trigger unit, and as has been said before, it really sets the standard with regards to triggers, certainly for spring-powered rifles. Even today, it is a wonderful, wonderful trigger. Crisp, precise. There's no creep on it whatsoever. The two stages are very, very defined, and the let-off breaks like glass. It's really great. And then you've got a screw underneath here, which enables you to make adjustments to it. On top of the action, you have a dovetail groove, which enables you to fit a scope, which you'll want to do because this is an incredibly accurate rifle. The rifle does come with open sights though as standard, and they're very good open sights. And if you want to use open sights, this is a superb rifle for that because, as I say, they're very good. There's no fiber optics on them. It's just a straightforward notch at the back, which is adjustable for windage and elevation. And then right at the front, there's a blade on the end of the muzzle. But as you can see, I've fitted a scope because it's a rifle that I think demands a scope. Now, the rest of the stock tapers quite nicely underneath here, and then it's a little bit scalloped at the end and drops down, flares out a little bit at the end. Very, very tasteful, very comfortable in the hand, and there's more checkering on the fore end here as well. And then if you can see at the top here, you have this loading port, and I'll show you how that works in just a second. And one thing that you have to consider is that when you put a scope on this rifle, you make sure that it doesn't interfere with access to this loading port. As you'll see on the 97 in another video, the scope kind of extends beyond this loading port here, and you can still use it, but it's just something to bear in mind. Now, cocking the rifle is achieved by pushing in a button on the end of the lever here. If you can see that, this little button up here, push that in, take a hold of the side lever and pull it down, and that will open up that loading port in here. And then if you can see just up here, and you've got the breech, and you push a pellet into that, directly into the breech, and then you're ready to shoot. Now, there are a couple of safety features on this rifle, which are really important. The first is that the safety catch comes on automatically. As soon as you pull down the under lever, that safety catch is going to pop out. Now, in doing that, it prevents you, if you pull the trigger, this under lever is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to come flying up and trap your fingers underneath the barrel. It's not going to trap fingers in this loading port. Really good safety feature. Now, have you heard that? If you push the safety catch off and pull the trigger, still nothing happens. It's called an anti-bear trap, which is like a second layer of safety, means that under lever stays where it is and that port stays open as well. And the only way that you can return the under lever is by manually pushing it up yourself. Now, one thing to consider is that if you have the rifle cocked and loaded, you push the safety catch in, you're ready to take a shot, and then for whatever reason you don't take that shot, the rifle is still live, that safety catch is still pushed in, and you can't reset the safety catch by pushing it at the back of the breech here. The only way that you can reset the safety catch is to take hold of the under lever, push it down again, and that resets the safety that way. And as you can see, it's not going to fire. Right, so that's the features on the rifle. Let's zoom in and show you some of them in closer detail. Right, 10 shots at 30 meters. Let's see how we get on. Now, one thing I always say to people when they're using any kind of spring rifle is, regardless of the safety mechanisms and the anti-bear trap and what have you, whenever you're cocking, be it the rifle or the underlever, always hold on to the lever, just in case something fails. You've got that added piece of security. Last one. Right, let's go and see how we got on. Well, that's 10 shots with 4.52 Air Diablo fill pellets. And I would say probably 8 of those have gone through a hole of maybe 1/4 of an inch. And then I've pulled a couple up here. But yeah, that's not a bad group at all. The gun is absolutely brand spanking new, hasn't been leaded in at all. And the pellets are right at the tin. So that just goes to show that combination of that record trigger and that fixed barrel system really does make for PCP rivaling capability for a spring rifle, and that's over 30 meters. Well, there you go. That is the Weihrauch HW77k. Really great rifle, absolute pleasure to shoot, and very accurate too. I hope you found that useful and informative. If you did, perhaps hit the like button, and if you hit the subscribe button, you'll get a regular feed of all of our other stuff as well. Now, if you'd like to know more about the Weihrauch range and a whole bunch of other airgunning topics, take a look at our website, which is www.alphamilitaria.com. Thanks for watching.